Today we pay tribute to change makers, the visionaries, to all those who walk us forward, the helpers and heroes wearing different suits. Hero Brainshare is a community built to face life with COVID, full of resilience, grit, and confidence. At Brainshare, we recognize that the greater pandemic is not the COVID as it is, but it is using the same old logic to solve our problems. We are fortunate to have each other at this time addressing a common problem, asking questions that had never been asked before, because we know that our survival is in each other. And this is the great news we brain sharers celebrate. We hold webinars every Saturday, and we appreciate if you can decide to dedicate an hour and a half of your time every Saturday to learn with us. We at Hero Brainshare is most fortunate to have with us a visionary who hopes to save the world one family at a time. He is the chairman of Homeschool Global Learning Incorporated, and as a chairman, he oversees the big picture directions of an international homeschool system with over 4,000 students across 27 countries. Wow. He is also the founder of Homeschool Association of the Philippines Incorporated, or HAPI, H-A-P-I, and a co-author of a book called Why Should You Homeschool, or Why You Should Homeschool. Also, another hat he wears is he is the founder and president of the Parenting School, or the Parent School Corporated, founded in 2014. He creates and delivers keynote messages, mounts events, and curate resources that help equip families in the areas of money, marriage, and parenting. Through this, he and his family have been tapped as brand ambassadors and social media influencers for brands like Uniqlo, Jollibee, Delcy, Cetaphil, I'm using that, Victorinox, and many more. Prior to entrepreneurship, EDRIC had 10 years of corporate experience across brand management, project development, and corporate listing across Del Monte, Philippines, Ayala Land, CB Richard Ellis, and many more. During such time, he also secured a guerrilla marketing coach license and was a part-time marketing lecturer at the Ateneo de Manila University. As a former TV personality, he also anchored shows such as UAP Men's Basketball at ABS Sports in 2003, Mornings at ANC in 2006, and Philippine Reality TV at ANC in 2016. He is an active member of Christ Commission Fellowship, or CCF, focused on the family ministry, and sits on various boards related to his work and advocacies. In 2006, he was nominated for the 10 Outstanding Young Man Award. Finally, he is now dabbling in entrepreneurship ventures in clothing, agriculture, food, and beverage. But he most enjoys being with his wife, who is the award-winning blogger Teach with Joy and the best-selling author Joy Tanchi Mendoza, together with their 6 wonderful children. Ladies and gentlemen, my deepest honor to welcome and introduce to you a very wonderful person whom I've just met just recently, but had inspired me immensely, Mr. EDRIC Mendoza.
Thank you, Bryce, or Doc Bryce. It's a privilege to be here with all of these amazing educators. I saw the roster of people you had here, and my hat's off to you. I think part of what made me interested in participating in this is you are a visionary as well. So thank you for helping me catch the vision, and ako po'y nandito to just help however I can. I'd like to show a couple of slides in the short time we have here, and I understand that after I do this, there'll be some questions. We have been in the home-based learning space for close to 20 years now. And many people from the education sector across areas, right? People from debt ed, people from private schools, companies and businesses have approached us to find out how we can maybe work together or learn from the things we've seen as we equip families. So let me talk a little bit about homeschooling and maybe some thoughts on how the learnings here can be infused across the education space as a whole. One of the other things that I had to do to help understand and better serve this space was I got myself certified at the Harvard Graduate School of Education under what's called the Advanced Education Leadership Program. So I carry a CAEL certification there. So part of what I want to share with you is a model that I learned at that institution, right? So let me share a few slides here. And what I wanted to start off with is a definition of homeschooling, right? The Department of Education just released the 5 learning delivery options under this LCP, the Learning Continuity Plan. And we just finished a 5-day online Philippine homeschool conference where yesterday we had 2 undersecretaries talk about this. No, so here's how we like to frame homeschooling in this in the world today. It's a very simple definition: parent-led, home-based education. But what I'd like to unpack here are the 3 sets of words. The first is parent-led. And what does this mean? As opposed to many of the school systems today who are shifting to embrace one of those learning delivery options that Ed presented, which would be maybe a little bit of a blended learning approach or a distance learning approach, right? The people driving the education in a homeschooling environment would now be the parent, as opposed to the other modes where you would have the teachers still driving it and maybe the parents helping out. So that's one fundamental difference. So the word we like to use when we define it is the word control. What happens is in a homeschooling environment, we give almost full control to the parent as they drive the learning of the child. It has its upsides, but also its downsides, because the natural questions that rise up would be, kaya ba nila? Are they equipped to be able to teach the academics? Are they able to give the time necessary, right? I'll talk about that as I go along. But many parents who have chosen to homeschool and many education systems that have switched to offering homeschooling realize that this is one key difference and one key advantage where it is received well, no? The idea of control, that they can now drive it. And in an environment like this, where parents are very concerned about health and this pandemic and its implications, control has become a big word for them to embrace, which is why we've seen a lot of people, as I mentioned, coming and asking questions, which is part of the reason we mounted the conference last week. We only had 2 weeks to mount it, to be honest. Kasi nga, there's so many people asking, so we said we'll do this. The second word here would be the word home-based. What does this connote? When we look at the word home-based, as we know, almost all learners, there's about, the data we got from an international leader yesterday is about 190 countries across the globe have about 1.5 billion students who are all learning primarily from home. And what does that mean from our standpoint? Basically, this means there's greater flexibility. So outside of the season of COVID, families who homeschool realize the flexibility that is present, flexibility in time, schedule, pacing, and even the content that they will cover for the children. Because it is home-based, it is no longer based in a school facility where the child has to go Monday to Friday, set schedules, and then they work around those rhythms, right? So once again, flexibility has its upsides, although there are also its realities and challenges, which we present to parents so that they can make a choice. Flexibility means, again, you have the ability to learn what you want, when you want, how you want it, where you want it. But with that also comes the reality of parents figuring out, well, how do I structure it? How do I create some semblance of structure and rhythms? How do I know what I need to cover for the child so that they're actually getting? And the third word here is a good education. So it's important that we include this word here, because many people around the world will look at homeschooling as more of an alternative. And even before this COVID, the stereotypes surrounding homeschooling would be, para lang ito sa mga batang hindi mag-cope, right? Children who could not cope in the formal school sector, whether it's private or public, no, in the conventional school systems, whether they will be children who have special needs, or they're sick, or they're artistas or celebrities or athletes, right? Basically people who could not keep the regular rhythms. That was the stereotype. And I think still is in many parts of what homeschooling or what type of people are suited for homeschooling. But we forget, and we like to remind the broad education sector and many families that actually when a parent chooses to homeschool, not only is it parent-led and home-based, which means you have greater control and greater flexibility, but there is a responsibility that is attached to it, which is the education component. And in one word, that would be learning. We find it very important to remind parents as they choose to homeschool that although you have a lot of the flexibility, you might be an entrepreneur and you travel a lot, and they love the flexibility of bringing the kids as they go because they're not bound by school rhythms. Their summer break can be anytime.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, straight from New York, USA, I have invited Dr. Lilia Huele, who is here with us to share us a message, because she is officially partnering with One School PH to provide this prestigious online education and academic technology program for our eGuru scholars. Doc, take it away, Doc.
Hello? You guys hear me, right?
I can hear you. I can hear you. All right. We can hear you.
Yeah. First of all, that was a beautiful performance from Bayang. That was great. Thank you. I also thank you, Bryce, for bringing me into this platform. I am so proud and so excited in becoming part of your so many programs, so many projects, your Be a Hero to the Next Hero, your Hero Brainshare, and then now what we're looking for in this new.
All right, to wrap up the first session, I have requested a very dear friend and a hero member, a psychometrician and the director of planning at Tarlac State University, a very dear friend, somebody I look up to in her passion for change. I'd like to welcome Dr. Grace Hasigawa. Doc?
Hi, Doc Rice, and hello, everybody. I'm so blessed to join the Brainshare today. And I really love listening to Sir EDRIC and also to Dr. Lilia, whom I met with Father Beltran before. So anyway, there are a lot of takeaways on the talk of Dr. EDRIC, because I think a lot of parents now are considering or maybe thinking about homeschooling their children given the current situation that we have now. And I think I agree with Sir EDRIC that there must be a retooling of our teachers and our parents as well, because if in the case of elementary and secondary education, I think they would play a huge part, the parents would play a huge part in the education of their children. However, me being in the academe, I would think that there are some implications in terms of teaching our future educators. For one, I think that we have to incorporate in our curriculum how we will conduct online classes and online assessment, because I think that is where we are lacking. That is the skill that I think we have to master in a few months, because in a few, like maybe in 2 months,